Mr. Edward Karewe in the Karewe Karewe.
No,
Karewe.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he's the General Secretary for Agricultural Workers Union. I mean, Bisanum, how farming is doing presently, especially on the back of a year. The Katsaye TSA Elkoswo with fertilizer here is a key component of Omajumo Ayanum. Openi Yamokwaba.
Yeah, good morning. How are you too?
I'm doing well, thanks for asking, sir. So how is farming now?
Well, the farming is hardly challenged now, very, very challenged at this moment. When I say it's challenge, I mean to say that before you can engage in the farming, you need a number of inputs to be able to do a successful farming. Those inputs are not available. Even where you get them, they are very costly, beyond the reach of the farmer. And then above all, to market to the farmers for their produce is unpredictable. And all this make the farming very, very challenging. So as it stands now, farming is very challenging.
Now, you talked about these inputs that are required for you to be engaged in farming and the fact that it's become a challenge for you to access these. Can you give us some sense of what these inputs are and why it's become a challenge?
Well, you need to prepare your land. And then preparation of land is not only by manual effort. Cost of labor is also high because where you need the farm labor. Apart from that, you also need equipment for the preparation of the lands. If, for instance, you have to produce rice or maize or whatever, you need some tractors to do that, and the cost of having the tractors and all those equipment to prepare the land is high. Now, after that, you now have to have the appropriate seed and then fertilizers, and the cost of fertilizer is so high. You know, government came to this realization long ago. That is why they subsidized the fertilizer since 2017. But as it stands now, there's no justifiable reason for government to reduce the subsidy. As we speak, the subsidy has been reduced more than 50% of what used to apply in 2017. And this is a serious worry to farmers. And because of the general cost of living, also fuel prices have gone up, you know, so the general cost of preparing land and the rest has also just gone up. So this is what it is. The fertilizer is very, very expensive now for farmers to be able to meet.
Now, if the fertilizer is very expensive for you to purchase, how then are you farming? Are you reducing the number of fertilizers you used to buy, or how are you making it happen?
Well, it is just natural that once you cannot buy many bags of fertilizer for your farm, you have to cut down the number because you don't have the money. The price has also even gone up, you know, so more than doubled, going to 3 times the cost, you know, as it used to be. So cutting down of the production size of farming is number one. Well, that's the only way you can be able to make. You can't do what you cannot do because you don't have the money to buy the fertilizer and then to meet the other inputs. So farming is going to reduce, and farmers are cutting down because it's just natural. They don't have the money. They can't get the money to. They can't get it from what? The banks. So they are cutting down production.
How does this cutting down affect your businesses as commercial farmers? And if I ask this question, I am asking this question on the back of labor that you use, people you employ. I'm asking this on the back of maybe loans that you'd have collected from banks. I'm asking this on the back of, you know, seedlings and other inputs as well. How is this affecting your business?
Well, the overall business will slow down. Commercial farmers will cut down their number of acres that they farm. Because if you look at the cost built up from land preparation to labor and then to fertilizers to seed and other chemicals which you need to deal with the pesticides to spray your farms and so on, to make sure that whatever crop that you are producing, it is not attacked by pests. So you use the pesticide. All those things have gone up, and now for labor it adds up, because you cannot take more labor when you cut down the size of your farm. It means that you have less labor to use. You know, so the other people will just be there without work to do. So it affects every aspect of our lives, you know, when farming goes on. And you see, one of the things is that farming is the area that allows easy flow of labor in and out, because you don't need to go for an interview to be able to be given by day. You know, they look at you, then you get it. The following day you don't come. You know, it's the area that there's a lot of flexibility. So once farming becomes challenged, I mean, people who do not have certificates and will not have been able to follow the rigidity of the interview process and the rest, all those people will not have labor. I mean, will not have job. So the unemployment situation becomes severe than it is now.
Now, let me ask, are there other inputs that previously were receiving, you know, government assistance in the form of subsidies that are suffering a similar fate with the fertilizers?
Well, if you take a seed, a certified seed, and the certified seed is the one that is processed, government was subsidizing 50% of it. So if, for instance, the seed is costing 100 Ghana cedis, you will now pay for what? You pay 50, and the other 50, government will
absorb it.
Take that one. Now, government has cut down the subsidy on all that. Meanwhile, the same quantity of seed that you used to buy at 100 Ghana is probably about 250 Ghana cedis or 300 Ghana cedis. You know, and again, that means that government, if government is going to subsidize 50%, if it is 300, then it means government will now subsidize 150 cedis. But unfortunately, government is also even now cutting down the subsidy. So the subsidy will now be about only 10 cedis or 20 cedis. And the rest has to be borne by the farmer. And all this is so huge, it's so difficult for the farmer to bear. And you also know that transport costs has also gone up because of the fuel increases. And it works out to everything that the farmer needs to be able to produce. The cost has gone up. So it is very, very, very difficult now. And we should all be bracing ourselves for low production of food, and that food prices will go up. And we just have to bear it, because the farmer cannot produce more because of the cost that is involved.
We are grateful, sir, that you made time to join us this morning to share with us the situation on the ground.
Thanks very much, and have a blessed day.
And that's the General Secretary for the Agricultural Workers Union joining us this morning.